Hello everyone, I'm back again with part 3 of True Ghost Horror Stories. But before we get into the video, I would like to mention that if you want to send a personal true story of yours, you can send it through email given in the description. Let's get into it. I've never lived in a haunted house, but my mother did as a teen. Other houses on her street had strange things going on too. A few homes away from her lived a family. One night, the daughter went to bed with a bad headache. The next day, she was dead. She passed away from an aneurysm. After her funeral, the family went away to get their minds off the tragedy, and the father asked my uncle, my mom's brother, to check on their pets. My mom and dad, who were dating at the time, went with him. My mother had heard there was a grand piano, and she wanted to play it. My dad was studying to be a veterinarian. After entering the house, my uncle and my father headed to the basement to see the animals, and my mother went to the piano on the ground floor. She was playing it when she felt something brush her ankles. She thought a cat must have left the basement and walked past her. She kept playing, and then she felt it again. She looked under the piano and saw nothing. When she started again, she felt hands clasp her legs tightly. She dashed to the basement door, called my uncle and father, and waited for them. Back outside, my uncle could tell my mom was rattled and asked what was wrong. She told him what had happened, and he turned white. He told her the daughter who had died used to play a game with her father. The game was when he played the piano, she would crawl underneath, grab his ankles, and push his feet up and down on the pedals. This was very creepy when my mom told me this story. So our ghost in this story is a beheaded character. My neighbor told me that near his grandpa's house, there used to be an alley which people didn't want to go during late hours. There was a rumor that a beheaded person often scares people passing through that alley alone. So our hero grandpa was not quite believing this rumor and was also ignorant. He happened to be late to go to his house, and while he was about to leave, his people warned him to avoid that alley. But as the grandpa was ignorant, he didn't listen to that. So now he makes a decision to pass through that alley. And so he did, without a second thought. When he almost left the alley, he saw a man approaching him towards the alley. Then the man looked at Grandpa when he was near him and asked him if he had a cigarette. Grandpa refused and said that he does not smoke. But the man kept insisting him to check his pockets and check here, check there, and the grandpa was starting to heat up. Grandpa left yelling and ignoring the man. As he left, the man at the back again said, "Hey, do you have a cigarette?" So the grandpa turned around saying, "Look, man." But as he turned around, he saw the man holding his head in his right hand, like how you hold a helmet. So the grandpa was shaken from his head to his toenails and ran away. Creepy. It was a week ago that my uncle came to my place. We were having a discussion on things that people think are not real when the talk led to ghosts. My uncle have had many experiences with them. I guess this one is worth telling. My uncle and his friends were going for a drive about 10 years ago when they had to go through a narrow road next to a cemetery. While driving, he saw a beautiful girl dressed like a bride. Actually like an Indian bride. He was the one driving, and he knew there were things that had happened to people if they stopped to help such girls. Actually, he was into ghost stuff. He knew it was one of the haunted places. And this girl was quite famous, as many people had seen her, many had suffered, and many had been able to escape. He continued driving as if he hadn't seen her. After about a 10 minutes of fast drive, he dared to look back, only to find she was right behind the car. He screamed and drove as fast as he could. There's not much of traffic rules here, especially at night, no cameras or anything. It's like do what you feel like. He broke all the signals and started reciting prayers. All his friends had been there all along. They too were suffering the same things. After about an hour, they came to a stop and looked back, but no one was there. They all were very scared and had high fever for about more than a week. Still, it is believed that if you take that road, maybe you will experience something similar. I have also told it to my other net pals, but they all believe it to be some fake urban legend.